Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Unplayable Podcast. This is a virtual episode today. Myself, Josh Schonafinger in Cairns. Kane, Richardson, you're in Darwin, mate. How's everything going up there in the top end?
It's very good, Josh. As you know from being here last week, it's 32 and sunny every single day. So easiest job in the world is to be a weatherman up in Darwin. So yeah, things are going well. Not quite as good for the Aussies in Cairns, but we'll get to that shortly.
We certainly will. We'll start with the weekly winner, though, bringing back this segment. I think we missed it last week when we were doing it in person, but it's going to come back with a vengeance today, mate. What do you got for us?
I think it's hard to go past tropical Australia, far north Queensland and the Northern Territory. I've experienced this for the past week. You've experienced both. I think they've rolled out the red carpet in beautiful fashion in both parts of Australia. So it's hard not to be all on board with cricket in August in the far north of Australia. So there's been some awesome games, but I think just how cricket's captured the attention of everyone up here, and I'm sure it's the same in Cairns, getting to see such high level cricket in the flesh. So yeah, I think it would be unfair on these two cities to name a weekly winner to a person. I'm just going to give it to everyone.
Right. And I mean, how lucky are we? We can't play cricket in the southern states at this time of year, but the northern states absolutely turn it on, and we may as well make use of the great facilities up there this time of year to, get more cricket in.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's been some talk about it, but I think going forward, this should become an annual thing in the calendar. It is a jam-packed schedule, but if you can squeeze a couple of one-days or a couple of T20s in, I think it's great for everyone. And as I said, the kids that get to see their heroes up in the flesh once a year, it's such a massive part of developing people's love for the game.
Have you been signing plenty of autographs over the sidelines at the NT strike games?
I think everyone's gone back to work. Everyone took their holidays. Maybe that's sickie on that Tuesday to watch the second T20, but no, it's been relatively subdued, which is nice. It's always nice, just playing the game and then getting out of there.
Well, thousands and thousands watching the live streams from all around the world. So not quite going under the radar, but I know what you mean. My weekly winner from your competition, Tom Rogers, he's smashed a fantastic century for the Melbourne Stars Academy side to get them over the line against Hobart. I think they chased over 200, didn't they? So good signs for the young Victorian left-handed batter.
Well, I think his leading run scorer, he backed it up with another 60 or 70 the next game. So again, anytime you can get the opportunity to play outside in August, get out of the indoor centres and winter is great. But yeah, he made 130 in a T20 game. It's pretty hard to do no matter who you're up against. So he's in good form. I'm sure the Melbourne Stars fans and Victorian fans will be excited to see that. And it's been relatively hard work for most batters. There haven't been many other high scores. So yeah, he's really been the one to stand out.
We've got a chat coming up with a previous weekly winner, Chris Green, coming up later on the episode. I chatted to him from Cardiff earlier in the week. He's been doing great things with Lancashire and the Welsh Fire, so stick around for that. Let's talk about the first BKT Tyres ODI, Richo, which was in Cairns on Tuesday night. Keshav Maharaj was the star with 5 wickets. He took 5 wickets in 26 balls, in fact, completely running through the Aussie top order. Didn't need any fielders either. 3 bowls and 2 LBWs. I mean, that's the way to do it if you're a bowler, right?
Absolutely. It was basically a one-man show, wasn't it, that turned the game in a short space of time. I was actually playing, but I checked my phone really quickly to see the score and to see the scorecard of, Head and Marsh laying a really solid platform, and then all of a sudden it was phone digits, wasn't it, the whole way down? So, but yeah, as you said, the style in which he did it, it was almost like day 5 test match bowling.
At the stumps,
natural variation, big turn. Yeah, and I guess it just shows anytime you can get a quality spinner up and going through the middle overs, most teams around the world struggle to play it, especially in conditions such as that. Travis Head took 4 for as well, so it probably goes to show that it was a pitch suiting the slower bowlers. But I think the big question was, under lights, would it play the same way with the dew? Well, if there was dew having that same effect. So yeah, that's impressive to do in under lights in tropical Australia, to spin so big. And yeah, the Aussies really had no answer for it, did they?
No, they didn't. And yeah, Travis Head, as you said, he was the surprise in the first innings, 4 wickets and a run out. Is he a bit underbowled, perhaps, Richo? Should he be rolling the arm over a bit more often for Australia?
I think the beauty in Travis's bowling is his shock impact, and I think if you overuse it, he probably loses that value. The one thing he's always had is the ability to bowl just a really good ball out of nowhere and get really good players out. He used to do it in Shield cricket all the time as well. If he needed a wicket, he was almost the perfect guy to bowl because he would just bowl like a massive ripping offie and take the top of the stumps and make something happen out of nowhere. But amongst that, would also bowl, an absolute bag of fruit. So I think he's definitely improved. But it's one of those. I mean, with Glenn Maxwell out of the team now, having retired, there probably is going to be a bit more work for him to do in that, spinning all around a space. So he's definitely better than a part-timer. But I guess it's, as I said, I think the shock impact of just tossing him the ball, especially he bowled the second last over, didn't he? Or
Yeah.
I think when you're throwing him that responsibility, I'm not sure that's sustainable. So maybe it is. But so handy to have in the team.
I did love Jason Gillespie said on ABC radio that he had a quick chat to Travis before the game and maybe suggested that he was going to bowl a bit throughout the match. And he said, "Oh, Trav, have you been, bowling in the nets?" And Head said, "Nah, mate, I like to go in fresh." So not a whole lot of preparation going on, which is good.
So that just sums him up. Like he would just not think about it. He'd put no prep into the opposition whatsoever. He'd just grab the ball and be like, "I've got this under control." So that's the beauty of the man.
Now, one of the stats that came out during the week was that Mitch Marsh has chosen to bowl first every single time he's won the toss as captain of Australia. That was the case again the other night, 21 times now, in fact. So it's quite an interesting little quirk that's been building up. From my opinion, I sort of think that perhaps with this ODI team, the next World Cup is still 2 years away. It'd be maybe good to see them even try to bat first a bit and just see what they are suited to. But where do you sort of stand on that? If you've got a sort of plan in place, you just stick to it no matter the situation?
Yeah, well, he's an elite tosser. I did have that down. He's basically won every toss, or the ones
it's crazy. Yeah,
it's majority, isn't it? So I think white ball cricket specifically has gone that way for a number of years now, where teams will always back themselves to chase. And as we've said, especially in these conditions where the dew seems to be so heavily involved. So I think you make an interesting point about the long-term view building up to a World Cup, and maybe World Cups in India and beyond are suited to batting first if the wickets become slow and low. But I think at the end of the day, you just play the game in front of you and you just try and win that day, whatever's best decision for that day, and you kind of just adjust accordingly. But normally it's a 50-50 chance that you're going to win a toss. So you'd think over a period of time it'll probably work out that they bat or bowl, 50% of the time they're going to do either one. So it's nice to have a strength, but it's probably nice to develop the other side of that as well.
Now they're on to Mackay for the final 2 ODIs. What can we expect down there? I believe you've played a little bit at the Great Barrier Reef Arena, mate.
Yeah, we played there a number of years ago. I think they had like Australia A try series against India A and South Africa A. This was going back maybe 10 years ago. So I think it's changed a little bit. We had a domestic one day there a couple of years. Queensland did against Victoria. But again, it was a day game, so it's probably not a sample size that anyone will look into. I think from memory it was quite high scoring, but there was a really big breeze pushing to one side of the ground, and basically no sixes were hit on the other side. So hopefully it's not the same and the spectators get their money's worth on both sides of the ground. But again, it's a really nice ground, really well presented, looked after. High scoring ground, over 300 in that one day comfortably, and it was good cricket. So I'm sure it won't be anything different. Hopefully a little bit less turn, possibly. I think the Aussies will be hoping that anyway. But I think it will be similar to what has presented in these 4 games to date in this series so far.
Well, Australia have Matt Kuhneman in the squad as well. Perhaps he'll get a look if the pitch is looking like it will take turn again. Is there much to do around Mackay, mate? Any extracurricular activities you can get involved in?
Well, Airlie Beach is close enough. I think we won a game in that try series to make the final, and we were so excited because we got a day off and we were chanting, Whit Sundays. We were in the huddle chanting that when we won, and then we lost the final because I think by that stage we didn't mind because we got to go to the Whit Sundays. So yeah, that's close enough by. But apart from that, it's a small country town. But I think everyone will enjoy it. The weather's always great. If you like fishing and, the outdoor stuff, then it'll be a great place. I think I bought a skateboard. I reckon that same trip I bought a skateboard just to ride around the car park and practice some tricks. So maybe that just shows that I had nothing else to do. I'm not a fisherman, so
Could you fit the skateboard in the luggage for the way home, or you just left it
Well,
behind?
cricket bags are pretty big, so no, it was like $500.
That's true.
The bloke definitely ripped me off, but I've still got it somewhere it's a big longboard somewhere in the shed. But yeah, I was like, I'm not sure what else to do. Everyone's gone fishing, so hopefully there's a skate park there now, maybe in my honour.
Your kids will make use of it in the years to come, I'm sure. So it won't be a complete waste. And I feel like as a fast bowler, you'll be keen to see Xavier Bartlett get a crack in this series as well. He's also been on the bench for the ODIs, and we know what talent he has. Obviously with the new ball, he can be so destructive. Yeah,
I think it's going to be a good opportunity for him. Definitely this next game, you'd think they'll give him a crack, and Matt Kuhneman as well, as you said. I think we spoke about it during the T20 series. You would love to win the series and give guys an opportunity as well. Makes it hard when you're 1-0 down, but I think really fact-finding for the Aussies will be a big priority. Josh Hazlewood, you don't want to bowl him into the ground this time of the year either. So I'm sure he's due a rest. And yeah, I mean, Xavier Bartlett's done everything right to be around that squad and to be given an opportunity. So he's that right age, coming in behind this group of legendary quicks to start getting that next group ready. He'd be one of the front of the line. So, and Ben Dwarshuis as well. Again, last night he showed how much he's improved and just keeps kind of getting the job done. So, yeah, it'd be nice to have as many options as possible going forward.
And more than handy with the bat as well, Dwarshuis. He's done his job a few times now with the stick.
Well, it's just so handy to have someone like that coming in, 8 or 9. I remember England, the year they won the World Cup, and leading into that World Cup, they had basically 11 guys who could bat. I think their number 11 was Adil Rashid, who had first-class hundreds. So when you are building an ODI team, it's never bad to have guys who can basically play any role. And, I mean, he's shown in the Big Bash that he's an all-rounder in, T20 formats. So, yeah, but his bowling's his strong suit, and he's getting the job done with that. I thought he was really impressive again yesterday in what looked like pretty tough conditions to get wickets, to get 2 for 40, I think it was. So, yeah, he just keeps improving.
Speaking of inform all-rounders, Chris Green has been killing it over there in the UK at the minute for Lancashire and the Welsh Fire. Managed to have a chat with him earlier in the week, and this is what he had to say. Pleasure to be joined by Australian spinner Chris Green, who's currently killing it over there in the UK, firstly with Lancs and now in the 100 with the Welsh Fire. Thanks for joining the Unplayable Podcast, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the 100, because for a lot of Aussies, it's still very much a foreign concept, even though it's into its 3rd or 4th season now. How are you enjoying it? It's a different format to what we're used to, but tell us what your first-hand experience is like.
It's certainly a little bit different, but it's been great fun. I was lucky enough to play 3 games last year for the Trent Rockets, and then halfway through the tournament this year with the Welsh Fire. And the concept, obviously, it's 1 ball less in the over and you bowl 2 overs from each end. So naturally it moves a bit quickly. And I think my first game, I was sort of thrown straight into the baptism of fire, bowling 20 out of 25 balls in a row. So you can obviously bowl 10 balls in a row. You'd then have to break for 5, and you have the ability to bowl 10 again. So I think it was up against the Northern Superchargers at Leeds. I bowled 10 balls in a row, had a break for 5. And then, the captain, Lewis Gregory, said you're bowling the next 10 as well if all goes well. So it's a little bit daunting as a bowler, that sort of concept when it comes through. You bowl a good over and you're used to having an over off. Potentially a wicket can happen in that time. There's a lot that can kind of go on. So kind of can work both ways. It can make you look really good and you obviously get a good run at things. But I think it's a cool concept. Fielding's different. You kind of stand in one spot for 10 balls and then you find yourself sort of running the other side of the oval as well. So no, I think it's great. It's been taken up really well by fans here. And I think comparatively, I would say to a lot of the blast crowds, it's a huge family concept, and that's really what's noticeable, that they've pushed a I guess, given it's in the school holidays here. And it's great support, great atmosphere, and a lot of fun playing.
Kane Richardson, he's a big fan of the 2 overs in a row concept. Do you reckon that's something that could maybe make its way into T20 cricket to speed it up?
Yeah, I think naturally, I think with the modern generation and everything, you've got to try and capture the market as quick as possible and shorten and condense things down. So I think every T20 tournament, particularly back home in the BBL, we have our discussions around how can we make it quicker? How can we fit more in? And I think as long as it's not diminishing the product, then sure, I think any player would be happy for it. But I think the traditionalist in me is happy to see, games go down to the wire, those pressure scenarios that we see with final ball thrillers, final over thrillers, where a little bit of extra time's taken out, but it's to ensure the highest quality, I guess, is produced by the players on the field. So, as long as it doesn't take away from that, I don't mind it. I think it's pretty easy for fielders to stand there in one spot. If you can rotate bowlers around or bowl, I don't know about 12 balls straight. I mean, as a spinner, 10 balls straight doesn't feel too hard, but 12 balls straight, you throw in a few wides there for some fast bowlers and they could be huffing and puffing. But I think it's a definitely interesting topic for discussion to see where it can go.
You've played cricket literally all over the world, BBL, IPL, CPL, PSL, I think even. Where does this tournament rank in terms of the rest of those?
I think it's right up there. I think certainly this season you've got the best English players playing. And I think anytime you can have the best domestic players accessible playing, the likes of Harry Brook, Ben Duckett, those guys playing and dominating for their franchises. Then you throw in 3 overseas players in each team and the best of the rest, I guess, coming through. We played Manchester 2 games back and their batting lineup's pretty daunting. It was our first win, which was great, but it was Joss Butler, Phil Salt, Heinrich Klaassen, Rachin Ravindra. You're hoping for some early wickets or that they have an off night. But I think, when you're coming up against those guys, that's challenging yourself against the best. And I think it's a great stepping stone of finding the next generation of English cricketers, which I think this tournament's already doing and has done. And then, it's attracting some of the best overseas players in the world. Rashid Khan's here, Noor Ahmed, Steve Smith, David Warner, Heinrich Klaassen, as I said. So, I think this tournament's right up there. And if they can maintain that window to have their domestic players playing all the time, I think it's going to continue to grow and get better and better.
Now, Harry Brook, we're going to see a lot of him this summer down under, and Stuart Broad has just called him England's potentially best ever batter. Have you come across him and have you had to bowl to him?
Yeah, I bowled at him in our first game against the Northern Superchargers up at Leeds. I think he's a great player, the sort of player that I think in any format, you look at the way they're playing Test cricket, can take the game away from you. I think we've sort of got used to saying that just in T20 cricket and one-day cricket, but the way England are playing their Test cricket at the moment, particularly with batting, he's that guy that can take the game away from you. And he's, been given that freedom or license, whichever way you do it, to go and do that. I wouldn't say he's England's greatest ever batter. I'm a big fan of Joe Root. I think his numbers stack up, and I actually think he's the key to their success. He's the guy that kind of allows the rest of them to go and play off really well. He's a little bit Mr. Fix-It when things go pear-shaped. He bats through and holds it together and allows those quick-fire cameos to work in England's favour. I think he's undoubtedly the best. I know there's some records where he hasn't got 100 in Australia before, but I think Harry Brook, Joe Root, they probably hold the key to England's success with the bat alongside Stokes and Duckett.
You've been the Sydney Thunder for about a decade now, and Steve Smith has been the Sixers. Now, however, you get to play with each other. He's your captain at the Welsh Fire. What's it been like to play with Smith?
He's been brilliant. He's a great character. I've been fortunate, but also unfortunate to be on the side of some incredible knocks and witness firsthand that he's done in the BBL, particularly against us on some testing wickets. And, I think he showed glimpses of what he can do here. It's quite tough at the top of the order, in this tournament. The balls have changed this year. There's a lot of talk around it doing too much last year, but certainly the power plays seen the toughest time to bat, and I think he's negotiated that quite well. And he's a world-class player, very giving of his time, very entertaining off the field. I think that's something that a lot of people probably don't get to see, but I find him hilarious. Brilliant on the golf course. I think his batting mannerisms certainly go to the next level, and he's on the golf course. And but yeah, he's been brilliant, and I think the young players around our group are really relishing being around him, just observing how he goes about it. He's still the ultimate professional, and having discussions with him, the desire to play Test cricket for Australia is still alive and strong. And like I said, I think the fanboy in me has been wanting to push him to play on longer. So I'm saying, come on, mate, a couple more years left, go and break a few records. I think that's my selfish desire for Steve Smith. Not that really matters on his radar.
How does his extravagant leave translate into the golf swing?
I'd probably say he's got a good lag in his backswing, but his extravagant leaves probably. I don't think it's quite in there yet, but the mannerisms of when you see the ball when he does that stuff with it nipping around. It's probably when he hits it in the air and it's slicing a decent way right, and he starts gesturing for it to come back, as every amateur golfer does, is just praying that there'll be a gust of wind that straightens it up and brings it back on the fairway. But yeah, he's been really good value.
That's great. And so your home crowd has been in Cardiff this year, being with the Welsh Fire, of course. Cricket in Wales doesn't get a whole lot of love, but what have you found it like up there?
It's been special. The two games we've had at home so far, the support's been great. We had a Saturday night game or evening game, which was pretty close to full, and then the other day in our victory, we had a really good crowd again, and it was the first time a lot of the director of cricket and a lot of the local sort of coaches were saying they'd heard the chants going Wales, 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 which is pretty cool. And I think it's something that sort of stands out for me playing cricket in England is there's a lot more singing in the crowd, whether it's through the DJ playing good music or just, the songs going on like, please don't take me home, I just don't want to go to work tomorrow. Or I think it's like, as a player, that just adds value to the experience that you're out there enjoying and living off that atmosphere to go out and do what you love on field.
So let's put the Aussie fans on notice to get a bit more vocal in the crowd. Let's get some songs going, write some chants, those sorts of things. Yeah,
I think we're focused on the Mexican wave and a few beer snakes and whatnot. That's our strength. But yeah. No, it's good value.
As I touched on at the top, you've had a great season with Lancashire as well so far, mate. T20s and first-class cricket as well. When you signed this season, did you see yourself playing as much county championship as you've done?
It's probably something my wife hoped I wouldn't, and we'd do some travelling through Europe in the break. But I still enjoy. Well, I love playing 4-day cricket. Obviously, the last 3 or 4 seasons back home, I've been playing for New South Wales, enjoying it. Last year I had the absolute honour and privilege to play in that game that Jimmy Anderson played before his final test, where he got 7 for alongside Nathan Lyon. So we were actually in the south of France due to go to Cinque Terre, and I flew back and cancelled the rest of the holiday to play that game. So that didn't go down too well, but that was just a boyhood experience for me, playing with 2 legends of the game. And like I had pretty open discussions with Lanks, being like, if you want me to play, I'd love to play. If you don't, I won't take any offense, and I'm happy to, refresh, have a break and focus solely on the T20s. And Marcus Harris flew home to have a birth of his child, and they didn't have, and the other overseas they had was Anderson Philippe, in that he had to go back for the West Indies A tour. So Ashton Turner and myself stepped in, and they hadn't had a great start to the season, and we were both able to contribute to a close draw, which was, I'd say it was a winning draw, a frustrating winning draw. If you could put anything to it, no extra points for a winning draw. But then we had were part of the first win of the season in the next game, which was really cool. And played the remaining two. And Jimmy Anderson played all of them, was captain, was really special. And I had my dad over watching the second game alongside Bella, where I got my second century. So that was really special. And
brilliant.
I absolutely loved it. It was a great experience. I still think 4-day cricket is the greatest challenge in the game. A lot of fun to play, and I think probably because it's the hardest one to win. You can naturally play for 4 days, have a hard slog out, and end in a draw, or a great win, or a tough loss. And our second win came on the back of 224 overs straight in the field. So it's a lot of T20s of fielding for me. But it was an enjoyable 4 games this season for them.
A lot of fans at home will know you as the Thunder's star spinner, but as you touched on, 2 centuries already this season, 121 against Derbyshire and 160 against Gloucestershire. Mate, where has this come from? And do you need to be higher up the order? What's going on?
Yeah, let's start that. I always had a lot of belief in my batting, and in the Shield stuff back home. Had got quite a few 50s over the few seasons, and always wanted to kick on. There's a few times where I was left stranded, and then a few times where I kind of let myself down and got out. So in those games, had the opportunity to bat on and push on closer to a bigger total. And it's great to get those hundreds. And like I always set the goal each season is to contribute as much as I can with bat, ball, and in the field. And if I can get higher up the order, then that responsibility lifts on me. But I was very happy with the consistency I've been able to find so far this season. In all forms with the bat, but it's sort of been building really nicely the last 3 or 4 years, probably since I've started playing first class cricket. So perhaps there's something in just facing more balls in the middle, more bowlers that it's kind of flowed on nicely for me in all forms.
And you touched on Jimmy Anderson, obviously the England legend. He's been your captain. You've spent a lot of time with him now. What's he like off the field, and what's he like as a captain? Because we haven't seen him do too much of
that. How much can I reveal about Jimmy? No, I feel like I've got a really good relationship with Jimmy. I thoroughly enjoy spending time with him. This year, I live down the road from him, so we were lifts a lot to games and trainings. And I think my learnings about Jimmy Anderson is in the morning that, particularly after a bowling day, he's very quiet, tired, and quite grumpy. So it was some early morning quiet trips in, but I think just such a great guy. I think it's really special to get to know someone who's done so much in the game on a personal note, and just see how down to earth he is. And met his family, which was really cool. And the passion is certainly still alive in Jimmy Anderson. When he steps over the rope, there's a lot of competitive desire to do well for the team he's playing for. He's got a lot of passion, and for Lancashire, which is pretty special. That we had his 43rd birthday the other day, and he's running in bowling bounces around the wicket to batters, and still doing a serious job with the ball, and entertained me a couple of times with the bat throughout the season. And I think just count myself lucky to share the field with him in championship first class cricket, but then also seeing him go about his work in T20 cricket was very entertaining. And just a great guy to have a beer with, great to play golf with. He loves his golf. And so I got to learn about Jimmy Anderson quite a bit the last year, which was a lot of fun.
And he gets to bowl from the Jimmy Anderson end at Old Trafford as well. Does he ever bowl from the other end, or is he just exclusively at that end?
That was an interesting one to watch. He did bowl a few overs from the other, but I loved hearing the announcer, and it must be pretty cool to be coming on to bowl from the Sir James Anderson end is Sir James Anderson. So I think it's an amazing feat. And the members still, I think all around, what's pretty cool is all around the country, every time his name gets announced or he comes on to bowl, the whole crowd just goes nuts.
Right.
So he's just that England legend that even in the Roses game, the Yorkshire Lancashire game, which is seen as the biggest rivalry in England cricket, I guess. somewhat like the Sixers Thunder, but not really. But it'd be, yeah, he got a huge standing ovation from the Yorkshire crowd away, which was really, really cool and yeah, just special to see.
Love that. Yeah. And of course, in the T20s, Lancashire finished on top of the North Group thanks to your 21 wickets, mate. The quarterfinal against Kent is on September 6th. Are you going to be around for finals to lead the Red Roses to victory?
Unfortunately, I'm not. Yeah, the scheduling's quite tough with such a big gap. But we had an amazing season. Similarly to last year, qualified. I think we've actually missed out on the top two. We qualified third, so I had an away quarterfinal. I had to miss the quarterfinal because I was in the CPL, and if they won that, I was going to fly back for finals day. It fell in between a game break between St. Lucia and Barbados, and yeah, unfortunately, the same thing happens this year. So I do miss the quarterfinal. There is a very, very small window potentially for finals day. I don't know if it's feasible or not, given the time zones. But I will be back in the Caribbean for the CPL. But looking ahead to next year, the scheduling has changed domestically here in England, and from what I'm told, it'll be in one block. So hopefully I can be a part of it because finals day looks unbelievable. Yeah, Edgbaston, the party stand, amazing atmosphere. That's a huge draw card for any player.
When because you're an Aussie playing in England, do you cop it from the crowd a bit, or no more than any other opposition
Plenty.
player?
No, cop it plenty. I find myself fielding on the boundary quite a lot, and yeah, I think I kind of try to embrace the Travis Head mode, as you just got to go along with it. I think it was the Ashes, either the recent one here or the one before that in Edgbaston, where he kind of played up to the crowd, and I think that's the best way to go. If you try and fight them or ignore them, they keep going harder and harder. So you just hope that you don't make any silly errors in front of them. But I think even if you do, you've got to just put a smile on your face and try and take the mickey out of yourself a little bit and go with them. But yeah, I think everywhere I've gone, it's been targeted the Australian. Not as much as Steve and Davey get targeted when they're playing around. But I know it fuels their fire to turn it around. And naturally it does the same for me. Is if you can, shut the home fans up or get them on your side, then naturally you're doing quite well on the field and hopefully you're contributing to some success. But yeah, there's the token Aussie or Aussie of few, like we were one of three here and I was one of two in the blast. It was certainly felt that we were let to know what they thought about Australian cricketers, the history and what's to come.
Yeah, good to know that rivalry is still alive and well. You mentioned CPL, mate. You've played in that tournament for the best part of a decade, really. Who are you playing for this year, and what has that tournament meant for you in your career?
Yeah, it's a great tournament. I've been lucky enough to be a part of it the last 7 years now, and going back for my 8th season for Barbados. It's going to be something that I'm really looking forward to. I never would have thought I could be an overseas player for 8 years in a row, but yeah, I think it was, I guess, outside of the Big Bash where I got my first opportunity. I was in the PSL, I think, for a year or two before my first stint with Guyana in 2018. But yeah, I didn't play a game. So Guyana was my first T20 playing opportunity outside of Australia, and yeah, fortunately did well for them for 3 years. I think we lost in 2 finals, 1 semi-final. In those 3 years, I was captain of 2 of those years as well. So it was heartbreakingly close. But yeah, it gave me my opportunity, I guess, to showcase my skills on a different platform and see a different part of the world. Go island hopping around the Caribbean, playing cricket, experiencing different cultures, playing against some of the most dangerous T20 players in the world. As an off spinner was a daunting task there, but there are some conditions that do favour me, and yeah, I'm always hopeful that there's a lot of spinning wickets when I see that tournament. I know the overseas batters don't particularly like going there, but yeah, the grounds are pretty small, so it kind of brings the game back together. But yeah, I absolutely love it. Just their passion for cricket, their energy, and yeah, their desire to win, but also be the best version on a global stage is pretty impressive. So I've loved it over the last 7 years.
And there's plenty of worse places in the world than Barbados to be based
Yeah.
for a few weeks, isn't there? It's a beautiful spot.
Yeah, exactly. It is. I think all those islands, particularly coming from England, and I live on the northern beaches in Sydney. It's my opportunity to catch up with some sun and swimming, and I had a good giggle at the Sammy Constas video, going to Cuzzy's fish shop in Barbados. I don't eat fish, but I did send him that video saying I'll go find your mate for you, and I'll make sure I wear a t-shirt, unlike Sammy did. But it's a great part of the world again with good people, and I love being out there, and it'll be nice to have a good run of games in Barbados, and plenty of swims in the morning and the afternoon as well.
Just looking through your profile, mate, one international T20 that was against India in 2023. How do you feel like you're sort of shaping up in terms of the general area of that part of the world and that part of cricket, I guess? Like, have the selectors been in touch with you at all about the T20 side and moving forward?
Yeah, it was a absolute dream come true, that T20 debut in India. I think that was since moving to Australia as a youngster, that was my ambition it was either my goal was to play cricket at the MCG and Lords, or tennis at Wimbledon. And unfortunately, my tennis fell by the wayside, or I had to choose at 18, and I ticked off MCG and Lords in the T20 world. But once I considered myself Australian after those first few years, it was that dream to play for Australia in the backyard, and to do that and find a miracle way to squeeze it in about getting married. I got married the week before, so the night before my wedding, got the call from Tony Dodemaide saying, can you get to India? I said, I'm due to get married tomorrow. Can I still do that? So I flew out a couple of days after my wedding, and it was a crazy week to get married to my wife, Bella, best day of my life. And then, followed up with a lovely dessert the week later in India with my dad, brother, and Bella out there watching me debut for Australia in India. Was really special, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity to play. It was only one game, and I feel like I've got a whole lot more to give, but that team's playing really well. There's some good players in there, and unfortunately for me, Glenn Maxwell bowls off spin, so he bats pretty well. Matt Short obviously bowls some off spin, so I do see it quite tough to get in there. My hopes and dreams haven't been dashed, and I certainly haven't given up on it. And I'm working as hard as I can on all aspects of my game to hopefully get another opportunity. There could be some conditions that favour me where those games are played, and series and tournaments in the future. Who knows? But I've just got to keep trying to put scores on the board, performances on the board, and force my way in there. And if it's just for one more game, then amazing. If it doesn't happen, to say I've played a game for Australia is an absolute dream come true. And if I can continue doing what I'm doing and in traveling the world and playing cricket and chasing the sun and meeting some amazing people and making some great relationships, it's not a bad career as well. So I'm very content, and I'm not holding my breath or anything. But if I can keep being consistent with bat ball in the field, then who knows what will happen.
Well, I did a bit of reading before, and I read that you were a very talented junior tennis player. So maybe Wimbledon is not off the cards completely, mate. Do you still have any skills left?
I think I'm starting to get a bit too old, unfortunately. I do have a hit every now and again. My brother was a professional tennis player. COVID sort of cut him off with his career. Wow. He got to, I think, 500-600 in the world. Forgive me, my numbers aren't great there. But he still plays a bit, and my mum and dad obviously played professionally as well. So there's still a somewhat competitive game of family doubles on a family weekend away once a year, which is great fun. But I think I'm starting to get too old to chase that dream. I'd rather try and push to play cricket for another 10 or 12 years and keep this dream alive.
Now, back home in Australia, you played 7 Shield matches last year and 5 one-day matches for New South Wales. but no state contract this year for the Blues. What does that mean for you? I saw Greg Shippard said that the door is still open for you to play, but there's just no contract there. So how did that all play out?
Yeah, it was sort of like a mutual understanding. I signed 3 years with New South Wales, so this was due to be my last year on state contract. Last year, the CPL's finals clashed with the first two one days, and as it was going to mean that I missed the opening game. I was back for the second game, but I missed the opening game, and I think New South Wales' standpoint was basically we don't want to have the precedent of any contracted players missing games throughout the season. My standpoint was you've got Nathan Lyon around. If I came back and went gangbusters in those first two one days, it wouldn't mean that I'd keep my spot in the side for the Shield games. And obviously it's the CPL tournament was a big part in helping me get back and recognised on their radar, I guess, and getting my opportunity to play. So it wasn't a tournament that I was ready to give up. It probably would have meant I'd have to give up that tournament to come back and play those 2 1 days, run the drinks for Nathan Lyon for the best part of a month and a half, and then, pick it up when I was. And I think the conversation was very open and honest that if my performances are still going well, that I'll get picked and get upgraded through playing that way. And my hope that that's still alive when I get home this season as well. And naturally I've put some scores on the board with the ball and bat in 4-day cricket over here, and hopefully that's still on New South Wales's radar. But at the same time, I'm giving opportunity to guys if I'm missing those first few games. I'm very understanding that if someone comes in, does well, that it may be hard to force them out. So, I'm very content with my decision. I think they're happy with theirs, and this allows a little bit of freedom at the start of the season for me to continue playing in the CPL. And, I think naturally I still love playing for New South Wales, and it's a big part of, I think my ongoing development. As I said, I feel like through playing first-class cricket with batting and bowling, it's actually improved my T20 game and helped me be more consistent. I think take more wickets, not just be a sort of out-and-out one-trick pony defensive bowler. I've found ways to be more attacking and increase taking my wickets by hopefully not going for too many more runs. But I definitely still want to be playing first-class and list A cricket where I can, and keep improving my game and hopefully continue going from strength to strength.
Very interesting stuff there. With the Thunder, though, mate, you will definitely be a part of that team. They unfortunately fell at the last hurdle to the Hobart Hurricanes last season. I'm sorry to bring it up, but how are the Lime Green team shaping up this season ahead of what's going to be another massive tournament?
Yeah, we had an amazing year last year. I thought we bounced back really well. I openly said it that we weren't at our best the year before, and we're a team that just wanted to make it be a blip on the radar. I think prior to 2 seasons ago where we did come last, before that we'd been qualifying for finals every year for the last 4 or 5 years and been a really consistent team. And I think probably one of the years under Callum Ferguson, we should have been featuring in a final as well, just didn't quite play well in those knockouts. So to go all the way last season, well, almost all the way last season before we, gave Mitch Owen his leg up into international world of cricket. But yeah, I think it was a great season to be a part of. T20 cricket, sometimes you got to tip the hat, and you certainly got to take your hat off to the way Mitch Owen did in the final. That was really special. And I look at our group coming back this season, we've been able to maintain the core group, which has always been the goal of the Thunder, is to keep a really strong core local group together. The likes of myself, Tanvir Sanger, Daniel Sams, Matt Gilks, Nathan McAndrew have been playing a lot with each other over the years. You add in David Warner. Sam Billings has had a consistent stint as an overseas player in the Big Bash, but also the Sydney Thunder. But there's a really good core group of guys that enjoy playing with each other, care a lot about the Sydney Thunder. And I think disappointed to lose Jason Sanger. I think he's going from strength to strength with his cricket. He had an amazing breakout season at South Australia, and what a great guy. Just happy to see him doing well. I think he's a big loss, and I hope he goes well in 9 out of his 10 games for the Adelaide Strikers this season. I think we're an exciting group, and I think Lockie Ferguson coming back for that second half of the tournament. Touch wood, stays fit. I don't want to be the one who jinx it, but the impact he'll have for the back end and finals will be huge.
And you've been a leader around that team for a long time. When it comes to draft night, obviously Billings was already locked in, but how much input do you have on the ability to say, well, I've seen this guy play, or I've seen that guy play, we should be targeting him? How much input do you sort of have on those selections?
Yeah, this is Trent Copeland's second season, and the season before he came in, Andrew Gilchrist, the GM, then had sort of discussions with me about the list that they were preparing alongside the analyst and coach. And, I gave as much insight as they wanted around different players and guys that I thought and the roles that they can play. Obviously, it's in the franchise world, you can get swayed by agents here or there. And I think it's always great to get players' insight from, someone who's played either with or against them. And a key part of what we're trying to do at the Sydney Thunder for a long time is get good people. And I've been really grateful that, since the days of Paddy Upton, Mike Hussey, when the Thunder, I guess, was turned around, there's still that mantra of getting good people as well as good cricketers to come in. And I think any role I can play to help grow and support the club, I'm willing to do. And I think having Davey more present now in the T20 world, post his career as well, I think, and Daniel Sams, there's a lot of guys who we can sort of try and cover off and help provide input to Trent Copeland, Trevor Bayliss, and the analysts based on their magic numbers and lists that they're putting together. But I think going into the draft this year was quite an easy one for us. Get a fast bowler, if it meant that we retained Lockie, amazing. He was our number one chase. Obviously getting Sam, and then an all-rounder that could do well on our wicket, and we've gone for Shadab Khan, which I think is a great signing to have Tambi and myself and Shadab bowling on showground. And I said, I really want those wickets to be tough to bat on if we've gone that way. I'm not at all for entertaining with big scores at scrappy 100, 120 all outs. Will be great at the Sydney Thunder home games this season.
All right, expect some Bunsen burners. That'll be good fun to watch.
Yeah, I may start pitch doctoring now when I get home in October.
And you touched on the Mike Hussey era. How often are you watching highlights of that BBL 5 final, mate?
Yeah, well, he's my coach here, so this is the first time I've sort of reignited. Gone back with him, and he's been great. Just that level of banter. He was a fantastic captain, sort of welcomed me into the professional world of cricket with open arms. And it's still, every time I see him, we discuss it, and he's got so much passion for the Sydney Thunder. We played against the Oval Invincibles the other night, and we were both likening that to playing against the Sydney Sixers or Melbourne Stars, because obviously there's a few Surrey players who carry on a little bit. So that was for us. The like.
Do you want to name names?
It didn't go down too well, by the way. They got a record score and we got absolutely hammered. So it didn't work out for us. But BBL 5 winning the Big Bash at the MCG in front of 50,000 people was amazing. My second year of playing for the Sydney Thunder, it was like, wow, this winning thing's pretty easy. But to go back there and relive that would be something that I would give anything for. Playing alongside childhood heroes and being a part of it was a lot of fun.
Legend, mate. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck for the rest of the 100 and then the CPL after that.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Josh.
So you're over in the 100, the Welsh Fire, not doing too well on the table at the minute, but with Green in their squad, I'm sure they'll be rising up the ladder very soon. Marcus Stoinis, he's been doing some good things for the Trent Rockets. He's not around the Aussie setup at the minute, but with performances like this, he'll certainly be in the conversation. And another guy who's been doing really well, Richo, Jason Berendorf for the Oval Invincibles, taking that new ball, getting wickets up the front. He's a star, isn't he? The big left armour.
Yeah, he's just playing the role, but he's basically made a name for himself. So it's pretty nice. I mean, he's in a really good team. Their team is star-studded, and
it's stacked.
I think they've.
Isn't it?
Oh, it's ridiculous for a domestic team to have that lineup. It's basically an international team. I think they've won the last two. They had Zamps playing for him last year. He doesn't come back this year, so they get Rashid Khan. It's like, embarrassment of riches. So that'd be a fairly good chance to go 3 in a row. I noticed the other day against the Welsh, they made the highest score in 100 history, and it is a small sample size, but any time you can make 230 off 100 balls is pretty good going. So they look pretty formidable. And Riley Meredith, actually, someone else he's been really good form, has been dominating. He actually sat out that game, so it's always a big tick for someone when you get rested that the team goes for the highest score in history. So it probably just shows how important he is to their chances, but also just shows how well he's bowling, because I think he took 4 for 9 in the game before that and was bowling really good pace. So he's probably another one that hasn't been spoken about a lot in terms of Australian selection, but I think anyone who can bowl 150 k's an hour, if he can stay on the park now and put together some good performances, he'll be around the mark for sure.
Yeah, and with a couple of ODIs under and T20s under his belt already, I'm sure the selectors will be keen for him to stay on the park and add to that total. I guess with Steve Smith at the Welsh Fire as well, and Green doing well, he hasn't had a lot of spotlight, but good to see that there are some wickets there. And I saw that also that the Fire brought in Matt Henry as well, who's one of the informed pace bowlers in the world as well. So they've got quite a few good international players to choose from there at the minute.
Yeah, I think Mike Hussey's running the show there, so he's obviously an astute eye of talent, and they've put together a good team. But yeah, like I said the other night, they went for a few at the Oval, but that can happen in short form cricket. So Chris Green's been leading the way. He's had an amazing Northern summer. Like his stuff in red ball with the bat, especially, he's really filled up. Like his stats have. I think someone said the other day he's averaging in the 40s in first class cricket. So again, someone who's had a little sample of playing for Australia, but I think he's one of these guys that will play. He'll be playing T20 cricket for the next 10 years. So don't be surprised if he adds to that in the future.
Friend of the show, Hilton Cartwright, he also got 42 for the Southern Brave. I think that was last night. And Beth Mooney for the Oval Invincibles, 47 not out against the Trent Rockets in a 10-wicket win. Don't see too many of those in T20 or 100 cricket. So well done to her. And over on the women's side, of course, Meg Lanning, still the leading run scorer, 202 runs, closely followed by Grace Harris, 199. So the Aussies doing very, very well in England's signature competition, which is good to see.
Yeah, leading the way, the girls. I did check that to make sure Grace Harris was still up the top. And yeah, Meg's just doing Meg Lanning things. So no surprises there. I'm sure it'll be the same for the rest of the competition.
I'm going to have to try and get one of those superstars on the show for next week. Another guy I just wanted to touch on, Richo, Sonny Baker. A lot of people talking about this young 22-year-old quick from Somerset. He got a hat-trick against the Northern Superchargers. And I just have a feeling, now I don't know a lot about him, but I just have a feeling the way that the press are talking about him over there, that he's an Ashes smoky. What do you think about that?
I like the name. That was the one thing that stuck out to me. I was like, he's got to have something with a name like Sonny Baker. So I recall, I think he toured Australia last year in our summer, their winter with the performance squad, and from talking to some of the guys, they said he was really up and about for it. I think it was a pretty tame series, but he definitely had a crack. So, and now he's been given an opportunity to play in their ODI team, and basically the next day he went out and took a hat trick. So clearly shows he can deal with expectations. He's really unusual in terms of swings the new ball into the right-hander at decent pace. But yeah, it just looks like he's got a good level of confidence about him. So definitely one to watch. And yeah, I agree. I think they're probably grooming him for some big stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, he's got a funny action. I've only seen highlights of him, but it doesn't look like he'd bowl fast with that sort of action he's got, and then it just flies out. And as you said, in swing to the right-hander.
Yeah, and the speed gun was, high 80s. So I think it was 88 miles an hour he was clocking in at. So you're getting in pretty quick territory there. So, yeah, he's probably been more suited to white ball cricket, but I think, again, like Jofra Archer, extreme pace, Mark Wood, there's a question mark over. So anytime there's a guy in the squad. You probably take a flyer on someone who's got pace and something about him for an Ashes series. Definitely a good shout.
Now, the listeners are keen to catch up with your own performances, Kane, Richardson, in the top end T20 for the Northern Territory strike, of course. 2 for 27 in the first match of 4 overs. And it's since continued to go very well for your side. They're currently second on the table with 3 wins and only 1 loss. Although I did notice that you sat out the third game, probably just giving everybody else a go, I assume, and then only 1 over against Bangladesh. So what's been the latest there?
Well, I'm physically flagging, I'll be honest. As I've said numerous times, my prep into leading was limited. So yeah, first game was good. I got 4 overs out, but I was cooked, and I didn't think I was going to be needed again. But backed up again 2 days later against the Canes. It was a 2:00 game in the afternoon, about 45 minutes south of Darwin. Not much of a sea breeze, so. Only bowled a couple there, and yeah, I had this feeling yesterday. I was flagging, so just the 1 over last night. Pulled up pretty sore, so could be the end of me for this series. But I'll hang around, try and help out the guys as much as possible, and it's been really good just to be back amongst cricket and be around the guys.
I went back and had a look at the stream, Richo, as I said, and the commentators said that, quote, "He doesn't look like he's moving with too much ease out there." So. They were picking up on it. Hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Well, yeah, I think it's pretty evident when you get to this age and you're not playing consistent cricket that the microscope's going to be on you physically. So good for the run. I'll be good for the run. There's some more cricket coming up, so I'll just get ready for that. And to be expected, it's pretty hard conditions up here, so it's definitely hard for everyone. I know a few of the other guys. Geordie Silk's in our team, and he's definitely looking forward to a day off today. So, yeah, I'm not alone in that category, but it's definitely harder when you get a little bit older.
And I suppose you haven't been out there for enough overs to get those sledges out there that we worked on a few weeks ago.
Yeah, they were in the back of my mind. They were ready to go, but most of the guys I've played against they're on the younger side, so it's probably not ideal content at this stage. So maybe I'll save them for the big bash.
Like it a lot, mate. Thanks for giving us the update this week. Always good to chat, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Perfect. Thanks, Josh.